skills that you have working at the job that you were working at 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Just remember this. I'll give you the best example. The company owned the job title that you held at that company for that period of time, but you own the skills. You own the skills, and those skills are transferable. Those skills are transferable. Let's say, for instance, someone has a job at a warehouse, and they were in charge. They were an associate. They basically moved boxes in the warehouse. It's just not a simple job where they moved boxes or moved inventory. They understood how to read manifest. They understood how to work as a team associate or team member. They understood how to take instructions. They understood how to follow safety procedures. All those job skills that they sharpened and improved working at that particular warehouse. If they were to leave that warehouse or they were laid off, they can take those skills, even though the job they were laid off from, they own the skills and they can always improve them. They can take those skills and go to another job. One example, I mentioned that I was employed quite a few years. In fact, I retired from a major transit agency. My job title belonged to the company, but the skills that I was taught, those skills are transferable. Tough times come, if I didn't have any choice and I had to, let's say, worst case scenario, I have to relocate, leave the Midwest. I can take those job skills, improve them if need be, and I can apply to probably, more than likely, any other major transportation authority or agency and get hired on the strength, as they say, of the company or the agency that I was employed with for the number of years that I was employed there. Again, the company owned the job title, but you own the skills, and you perfected those skills, and you can always perfect them even more. Those skills are transferable. I could take my skills and go to, let's say, for instance, I'll give you another example, MTA, New York City, Metropolitan Transportation Authority, New York City. If I wanted to, and it was tough times, and I had to relocate, that's a big if, I could go and apply there. And being it was an excellent transportation authority that I was employed with, and I retired with them, they'll look at my background, look at my resume, and they more than likely would hire me. I would say 90% certain they would. So again, remember, all is not lost. You have skills. The company owned the job title. They employed you to perform those particular They hired you to perform those tasks, those duties related to that job title. Okay. If that job is severed, if you separated from that company, if they cut you loose because of the economic picture, they looked at it and decided, okay, we're going to eliminate approximately 3,000 people, or we're going to eliminate 800 people. At the stroke of a pen, the CEO could do it. As I mentioned in my last video, what's happening is these companies are realizing that the amount of money that they estimated that they would save using AI, they've burned through all of those savings and then some, because of the expense of the data that they're using for the AI for their company. So now they have to backtrack and start hiring back those employees, a certain percentage, a certain number, hiring them back to babysit AI, or the expense was so large using AI that it didn't make sense, instead of using humans, using personnel, live people to perform those tasks for that company. So again, this is lesson 2. You have to understand, this is not difficult, it's easy. Now again, I'll give you this much information. I was a bus instructor. If I wanted to use my history or my education or my job skills, I'll give you a freebie, because I thought about doing this. I could literally reach out to this state, and see exactly what I need to do, what's required, do my due diligence, do my research, and decide I'm gonna lease a transit bus, a 40-foot transit bus. I'm gonna set this business up where people who are thinking about starting a career as a bus operator, let them get the feel of the job. I wouldn't, because of liability, you set up your company, you have your LLC, you set everything up, you lease the equipment, 40-foot bus, you find out with air brakes, passenger and everything. You find out what the expense is to lease this vehicle, what the insurance cost is, you factor in all the expense, and then you sit back and you think, okay, am I going to pull the trigger on this, or am I going to pass? You could basically take that transit bus, sign people up through, let's say you start a YouTube channel or Instagram. Give those individuals, start a business to give them an idea, a taste, so to speak, of what the job involves. You're giving them like a real world scenario up front and close of what some of the job responsibilities they will entail, namely the traffic. They'll see how you make the right turns and left turns, your following distance, your stopping distance, braking distance, how you angle the bus out, what parts of the bus have to be located where when you're making right turns and left turns. You would give those individuals a real up and personal view. It's basically right there in front of them what that job entails, so they'll know exactly, this is what I'm going to encounter with this job. They can go online, they can read about particular transit agencies, particular transit authorities, what the job entails. I'm pretty sure there's some YouTubers out there doing that, but that was a freebie. Actually lease a bus that's similar to that particular transit agency. Sign interested individuals up for a particular price. You figure out what your time is worth per hour doing this, what you want to charge people to do this. Take those individuals out from a meetup point, and as you're operating that leased vehicle, you're giving them an upfront and personal view of the job. While you're explaining to them about the job, what the duties entail and everything, they're seeing exactly what it feels like to operate that bus. They're not operating it, but they're witnessing you up close and personal. They're witnessing you. They're getting a feel, something you can't get looking at videos online. You can look at all the content creators you want, but that's a freebie I just gave. I thought about doing it. I put it off, hesitated. I probably could make quite a bit of money by now. And guess what? That's applicable pretty much anywhere. I can go to Florida and do the same thing, if need be. That's just one idea of maybe 100. Again, The company that you were employed with, they own the job title, but the skills stay here. The muscle memory in the brain, it stays with you for the rest of your life. You can always hone those skills and sharpen them, but they never leave you, like riding a bicycle, swimming. All right? That's just another little taste of what's possible. Again, people start to sweat when they're sleeping at night, as I did at some point when I went through this economic issue with a particular business venture that I was involved in. Staying up at night, looking at the ceiling, thinking, what am I going to do? Got a mortgage, have bills to pay, daughter that's took a break from college right now. Again, you'll get nervous. You'll start to not panic, but all this pressure of the responsibility of running a household and educating a young adult child. That weight is very heavy, but it's not unbearable. So again, you have options. All is not lost. If I sat down, which I do often, and think, and brainstorm that one idea I just gave about the transit bus, that's just one of so many that you never really think about. Who knows, we'll probably pick that idea up and run with it and make thousands of dollars. So again, that's just one example. Just remember, you had a job. They separated you from the company for economic reasons. You still have the skills that you sharpened at that company over that period of time you were employed with them. All right? See you in the next video.